other subjects, you young bucks here.
There's in the wheel of spiritual responsibility, the black people in the North are responsible for the safety of all. The yellow people in the East were responsible for the removal of pollution. And the white people were responsible for removing all differences between us. And the red man's spirituality is responsible for bringing peace after celebration and ceremony. Now, there have been some other wills that assigned spiritual responsibilities to each of the groups. But one of the things we can do is to focus on what is our responsibility and begin that inner work to move outward to fulfill that. And then a lot of things start happening. When you're responsible for the safety of others, you have to recognize and forgive if you're a predator. How do you undo that, for example? And in that undoing, you will become responsible for your people, your family, and then your circle broadens out. That's the starting point, because you cannot go back all those centuries. You can't go back so far. But there's a spirit for everything we've done.
And going back does two things. It shows us true history. And it also shows us where we don't want to go again.
Okay.
You know? I mean, think about it. There's been a lot of good things in history, but there's been just as many, if not more, bad things. So we can learn from both. Those of us that are wise enough, then we can cut the path through the forest to peace quickly. You believe that? I mean, we can't just go back and start accusing people all the time. Well, you know, your ancestors did this, and your ancestors did that, and my ancestors did this in retaliation of what your ancestors did. Well, guess what? All the ancestors are gone. How about us now? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? We are standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. I don't care if they're black, red, white, or yellow. We are all standing on their shoulders. And I'm quite sure that when they crossed over and recognized their ways and their mistakes, they're probably over there saying, you know what? I just hope they don't carry on with what happened to me.
With our mistakes.
Yes, exactly. And you know something else, too? We don't have a lot of time to get this done because the ancestors are really upset about what they're seeing. And the ancestors are watching us. You got something to say, bro?
No, I agree. I think peace is always trying to find a way into every generation. And even in the inception of time, up to now, peace tries to break in. And I think you can begin first by finding peace with yourself. And once you begin to find peace with yourself, you can start the process of letting that peace spill over.
Now, speaking of self-exploring, okay, another big part of that peace comes from this. It's called self-respect. If you can respect yourself, then you can respect everybody else. But if you don't have self-respect, you're not going to respect anything. And if you get to that point, when we get to that point of self-respect, self-esteem, you can be the poorest, you can be the richest. When you get to self-respect, then that gives you a piece of peace within yourself that nobody can take from you. And then that light shines, and it permeates over into your interpersonal relationships with everybody around you. So, I don't know where that came from.
I do.
You know, that came from living all these years, you know.
It came from something else. There's one of the biggest obstructions to peace amongst ourselves and with each other is that most people are afraid of living, and that fear is based on several things, but a key thing is that people are afraid to give birth to who they are. Every one is born, we would agree, to do certain things. And many of us are afraid to do it or have not been instructed how to give birth to themselves.
Or running away from it.
And they run from it. Which, well, actually, all of us at some point have had to run away from our responsibilities.
I ran away from what the Creator told me to do for years.
Me too.
And you know what? When I submitted to God's will, that's when I found peace.
Same with me. That's my story.
And you know what? I don't have any money. I don't have a lot of material things. But you know what I really have? I have a peace within that nobody can take away from me. And I have this strong desire and this urge every day to get up and help somebody. And that is the most beautiful thing that ever happened to Nightwolf.
It is a great thing that you say, Jay. We must know how to listen to God. Sometimes we don't listen to God.
We're too busy doing other things. And God's talking and we're not listening.
And God is talking to us. We must listen. God is talking to each one of us. So we must, first of all, we must strengthen our connections with God. We must believe that God is talking to us, to each one of us, Second, we must strengthen our connections, the family circle. I must take care of my wife, my children, my grandchildren, my brothers, my sisters, and then the bigger circle, the other part of the family, my tribe, my clan, my land, and the whole world. If I'm taking care of my family, then I must take care of my neighbor also. I want to leave a better world to my grandchildren.
I do too. We got 7 generations ahead of us.
Exactly. And the question is, what did I got from my ancestor and what I want to leave to my descendants? So I want to leave them a better land. It's not my land. I must keep it for them. So if I will keep it for them, then I can't pollute, the water. I can't use it's not my world. I'm only a keeper.
Stewards of the earth, of Grandmother Earth.
Exactly.
We got some more calls. I'm loving it every minute of this, and I know y'all are too. This is WPFW 89.3 FM, Washington, D.C. Pacific Radio, Nightwolf, the truth about what really happens to the American Indian. The most dangerous show on radio. Caller? Hello? How are you, sister? Can you get a little closer to your phone? No, I can't hear you. Okay, do that. I hope you can still hear me, caller. We do really appreciate you calling in, but we had such a bad connection. But, Chucky, we got 2 minutes. What do you think?
Can I say a prayer?
Yeah, you can always say
a short prayer, a Native American prayer for peace. Grandfather, Great Spirit, guide us. Let us know peace. Let us know peace for as long as the sun will shine, for as long as the moon shall rise, for as long as the rivers shall flow, for as long as the grass shall grow. Grandfather, Great Spirit, let us know peace. Give us the wisdom to teach our children to love, to respect, and to be kind to each other, so that they may grow with peace in mind. Let us learn to share all the good things that you provide for us on this earth. Teach us to walk on the soft earth as relatives to all that live. Mitakuyo Yasin. All our relations.
All our relations. Not all our Indian relations or black relations or white